Welcoming now to the conversation, we have former U.S. Ambassador to Morocco, our friend Mark Ginsburg. Mark is also the Senior Global Advisor for the Counter-Extremism Project. His nephew, I'm sorry to say, a member of the IDF, was killed on October 7th. So, Mark, you have to be thinking about your nephew. As we just saw a short time ago, these first images of the Israeli hostages after their release. We understand your nephew was killed on October 7th. He was a SEAL, a Special Forces leader in the IDF. You know, what goes through your mind when you see this and what could have been for your nephew?
My nephew very much, and my nephew Ellie, may have been trying to rescue these very three women when he was killed. I don't know that, but given the sacrifice that he made with those around him who dashed as quickly as they could on their own without orders to try to rescue these hostages, and to know that he sacrificed his life for their behalf. Look, I'm so happy, and I'm sure my family in Israel is happy that this truce has been reached, and that the hostages, at least those who are alive, will be able to return to perhaps some sense of normalcy. But I have no illusions, Alex, about what may happen after this phase one is finished. Just the fact that you saw all of these Hamas fighters surrounding those cars is an indication how little in the end the Israelis have accomplished in destroying Hamas's willingness to continue fighting.
Does that then worry you and preempt phase 2 and 3 and bring about an end to this war?
I don't see, Alex, given my own knowledge of Gaza, and I've visited there, met with Hamas, the fact that after 471 days of pulverizing attacks, there are still thousands of Hamas fighters who are still willing to stand up and to either fight Israel more, fire missiles into Israel. And just the other day, just last night, Alex, there was an air raid siren going off in southern Israel because Hamas and maybe some of its collateral supporting terrorist organizations decided to fire back rockets. There's no such thing as total victory. Netanyahu is feeding a big lie to the Israeli people, because Hamas is not going to pack up and leave and go sun themselves on the Riviera.
Is there something that runs through your mind, given your experience as an ambassador and your studying of this region of the world? Is there something that comes to mind you think this could be a hiccup from which we are not able to go forward, that it could cause all of this and this agreement to fall apart? Do certain things press on you that way?
Look, I'm hopeful that the peacemakers, and I include President Biden, President-elect Trump in this, because without either of them, this hostage deal and this ceasefire would not have been achieved. The fact remains is that Hamas may try to replicate what has taken place by Hezbollah in Lebanon, infiltrate and integrate itself and remain a presence while letting the Palestinian Authority, and under phase 2, come in and in effect take over the enormous, agonizing responsibility for reconstructing Gaza. And so Hamas doesn't want to be responsible for the turmoil and carnage they created among the Palestinian people. They'd be more than happy to set back and benefit from raking off whatever profits they can make from reconstruction and let the Palestinian Authority take over. And that could bring about some semblance of peace. That's my best expectation.
With your history as a diplomat, as an ambassador, you know all about negotiations. So give me a sense of what changes when you're negotiating something as sensitive as what has been negotiated in the Middle East, when you have a group of players, if you will, who've gotten to know each other, develop some level of trust, you're going to assume, given what we're seeing happen today, and they get replaced with a new slate of negotiators. How long does it take to build that kind of trust with them to think when you say something, you're going to mean it and we're going to trust you?
Well, here's a perfect illustration. The president's special envoy for hostage negotiations, Roger Carstens, who deserves his own Medal of Freedom for the work that he has undertaken during the Biden administration to achieve hostage releases around the world. He was indispensable in this process, and I don't know whether the Trump administration is going to keep him on. I mean, he's apolitical. The fact that Mr. Witkoff was permitted to participate by President-elect Trump with the Biden team in reaching this agreement, that was a great baton handoff. And kudos to President-elect Trump for this. And kudos also to the fact that the team that President Biden assembled have been willing to work across the aisle as well. We don't see that happening a lot, Alex, but in this instance, the fact that they both worked together forced Mr. Netanyahu's hand. I don't think this would have happened without joint efforts to strong-arm Netanyahu into making this deal.